Thank you for coming back. This is going to be biscuits and gravy. It's on a miniature plate. I have a plate tutorial, so I'll put that in the description box to keep this video shorter. So you could do the plate from that tutorial, which is this. Then I have, this is the marbling that I do for my bacon. And this is what's going to be creating the sausage, is some marbling. So go ahead and watch the bacon and egg tutorial for that. Then everything else is going to be in this tutorial, making the sausage from it. For the English muffins, we're going to be using a pale tan. I made it with ecru from Primo, white from Primo, translucent, and a tiny bit of yellow. And then this is yellow, which is pale yellow and white mixed together with a little bit of translucent. It's the exact same from the last tutorial, which was the French toast. So I actually show the color amounts in that video if you wanted to see it. Here I have two balls. They're 1/2 centimeter each. I press down slightly to form the English muffins. You don't want to smash them too much. Now I'm going to take my plate and put on a little bit of TLS. So the translucent Sculpey goes in the corner of the plate. And then I am going to use a toothbrush to start putting in some texture. And we do texture it a little bit more once it's on the plate, but I'm adding some texture now. And then we're going to add some color to make it look toasty. So in the background, I made some chalk dust using my blade. So that's going like this. I have it with the yellow ochre, the rust, and the brown. And I am going to go along the very edges of the English muffins. I want to make them look nice and toasted around the edges. I'm mixing the yellow and the rust. So there we go. And then I am going to put them on the plate. And if you can, do this over your English muffins to get better color. I dropped my top English muffin in the rust, but we'll just have to live with it for now. I'm going to put a little bit more texture in. And then I'm going to take a safety pin and add some little nooks and crannies. And I'm doing this primarily on the edges where you're really going to see the texture. I poke straight in, I push the clay around a little bit, but really you see the edges because the center is going to be covered by the gravy. So there we have some edges of our English muffins textured here. Now I'm going to put a little bit more TLS on our plate. I'm going to put it on the side for us to make some scrambled eggs here. And the scrambled eggs, I'm just going to take a pinch off of our pale yellow and we're going to squish it down onto our plate. Then I'm going to start smashing it. I'm pushing it around with my safety pin. You could do this with a needle tool too. I just like my hand to be as close as it can be to the clay. I feel I have a little bit more control over it. But I'm pushing it back and forth quite a bit, giving it a rough texture. Once you feel it looks about right, I take a finer tipped brush and I put just the yellow on it, and I add yellow to just a couple areas of the eggs, just adding a touch more color. So as you can see, we're getting the scrambled eggs there. And after I do that, I go through one more time. Make that nice bright yellow we added not quite so uniform. We'll lighten some of the areas too. So there we have some scrambled eggs. Now the sausage. So the sausage starts with the cane that I used for the bacon. And I want to show you the edge. When you're marbling, oftentimes, do you see how you see a lot of the different colors? This was marbling together brown, brown with translucent, translucent, and ecru. So as long as you know how to marble, you can create that without watching the bacon tutorial, but it's the exact, this is actually one of the canes that I used during the bacon tutorial that I just haven't used up yet. So I took a small slice off, and there is all of those nice rich colors, and I will start rolling them into a little log, and then I'll give it its kind of U shape. And you can texture it with your toothbrush or a nutmeg grinder or even the side of a tool, as long as it has some texture to it. So there we go. There's a sausage. It cooks quite a bit darker. So there we go. That one is another one. I had two little sausages on our plate, and now we're going to make our gravy. This one you could probably use the pastels with. You can use some of the yellow ochre, white ivory. What I'm using is the powdered food coloring in ivory color. That's it. Along with the TLS, I have some on the paper back here. And then I'm just going to dip it in the TLS to pick up some of that I mix, mix, mix. It's a nice color. So it's ivory powdered food coloring that make that nice gravy color. I like the powdered food colorings over the pastels because the pastels it doesn't get dissolved all the way sometimes. In the background here, I am taking some ground pepper. Well, I'm grinding the pepper as we speak. Black craft sand would look good with this too, but black pepper will have some really tiny, tiny bits in it. So I put that inside my gravy and I mix. So it gives our gravy a little bit of texture and a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to paint it onto our little English muffins here. So I'm taking my toothpick. You could also use your safety pin. Safety pin gives you a little bit more control because it's smaller. And you can decide where you want the drips. If you want it to get onto the scrambled eggs or not at all. So I just put it on allowing some of the biscuit to show. And then here is one sausage. And you could decide if you want one sausage, two sausages. But there we go. From here we cook it, and then if you want to turn it into a charm, once you're finished, you can stick a pin or a safety pin straight through your plate. You have to decide where you want the top to be. I'd have the top right here, and then I just stick it straight through the plate, trying to be careful not to stab yourself. As you can see, it's working its way through, and there it is. So I would wait for a few minutes, then I twist it on the pin, take it out, throw my head pin in. Or the plate on this is scale. The English muffins are a tiny bit bigger than scale. The scrambled eggs and sausages are about right, but those English muffins are a tiny bit bigger. But you can decide if you like that or not. If you want, you could put a tiny bit of pepper on the top of your creation before cooking it, if you want a little bit more of a cracked pepper on there. So there we go. I hope that you liked the biscuits and gravy tutorial. If there's anything that you'd like to see, let me know. This is just about the end of the breakfast tutorials now. I don't know if there's anything else that anybody's been wanting to see of the breakfasts. So we have till this Friday to finish voting on the next theme. So far I think it was bakery treats and circus that had the most thumbs up so far. I'll be keeping an eye on that so I could start thinking about what type of foods to go along with those themes. And we have to figure out how to do it better next time because there's a lot of repeats in there. So feel free to leave ideas, and I will be talking to you guys soon. Thanks.